I'll ask you something else. She's just going to ask. She's just asking.
That's it there. So you see the way they've rolled it, and it's got all the a little bit of garlic and rosemary all infused through it, and bits of parsley, and then they tie it and roast it.
Oh, it looks nice. I'll take that.
Quite an old product, quite a traditional product. You don't really see a lot of it around in New Zealand.
Gabriella will get some of these. It's great for making tiramisu. I'll send you a
Hi, I'm Gino Cucurillo, the son of Antonio Cucurillo, who was an immigrant from Massalabrenza in Italy in the 1950s, and he came to this wonderful country and made New Zealand home for us to create, like him and so many friends, a generation of Kiwi Italians, which we're very proud to be. So the area that I come from is down the south of Italy, and it's this area here called Capri, which is where my mother comes from, and my father comes from Massalabrenza, which is about 2, 3, 4 k's up the road from Sorrento, which are beautiful areas, and most people know it as the Amalfi Coast. There's also a lot of migration in Wellington from Stromboli, which is down here, and that whole coastline is just spectacular.
When I was little, I used to watch my grandmother cook, and I'd write everything down. And this is how she used to cook. Anna, you put a handful of this and a pinch of that. So I wrote that down, and then later on, when I went back to look at it, it's like, oh my God, how big were my grandmother's hands? And it was just very confusing. But that's how all the Italians cook, with their hands. And it works, it does. If you're really passionate about food, then just tell by looking at it, oh, it just needs something else. Or, yes. What these are?
Yes.
These are little roasted vegetable and mozzarella tarts. Really nice. Of course, my mum makes her own cheese, which is beautiful. My dad is 76 years old. He comes up here every day and does the dishes. And then he goes to visit all his grandchildren and puts all the washing out in all of his children's homes.
It's harder than anyone.
He does.
Oh, that's alright, I like a bit of sweet, bit of food, a bit of sweet.
When did you come to New Zealand?
1949, after the war. In tobacco factory I used to work, yeah. I used to get about £9 a week. But it was good for £9 a week those days. Nee, £9 to buy nothing. Everything sardine, everything sardine, yeah.
Those are chicken, mushroom and bacon phyllo parcels with a sprinkling of dakka, and it's made with lots of wine and leeks sautéed for quite a long time. It's chicken and mushrooms and field mushrooms. It's beautiful. Yeah. Ida, do you have a mozzarella in your fridge at home? Yes. This is fresh mozzarella, and my mum makes it, and it's so different from the shop.
It's delicious.
Delicious, but it's great for cooking, and we use it in all our catering. My grandparents were very passionate about food as well as my mum. But I think I learnt a lot more when I went over to Italy and watched my great aunt cook. A little hobby turned into a big kitchen with a huge client base, which is great.
Born in the Massalabrenza, yeah, 1933, yeah. And then we started there. My grandfather had a farm, Used to go have a little bit there. I was young, you know. I used to help him in the farm. Yeah, and I used to make wine and olive oil and orange, lemon, everything there. Potatoes in the garden, everything. Summertime I used to go fishing in Italy on the boats. I used to get sardines with a light down, put big nets and pick them up. Summertime I used to be seasick with the petrol. You don't know when they back home in 1962 to get married. You don't know that.
Muscle Brains is a small village. It's about 10,000 people, and that's all farm. And there's a small village down the beaches where they're all fishermen. And so the fishermen are down, and I was up in the hills, through the hills, and my father had a farm there. Farm of olive oil and wine and lemons. That's where I grew up. I always try to speak my own language, which is Napolitana. It was hard to begin it because of the language and to understand the way they were, you know, because I always work, I never stayed at home. It was a time that I had 3 jobs and 4 kids to keep up paying the mortgage and second mortgage and all those.
In New Zealand we talk about the weather, in Italy we talk about the food, how good it was, how bad it was, how better it can be and all of that. So that's what happened in Italy. Well, I've grown up in Rome. I'm a true Roman. You know, my parents are from Rome, and that's where I have been born, and I developed my passion for food. I am married to a blonde Kiwi, so that's what brought me to New Zealand. She lured me all the way here to New Zealand, you know, and when I first arrived, I thought that this one was a tropical country, you know, full of sun and always 30 degrees. I was wrong, you know, but it's a beautiful country. In my family, there's always been a passion for food, and that's exactly where I got it from, you know, from my parents, yeah, and my grandmother. I've always been very, very passionate about cooking and good food and good quality. And many years ago I started to import from Italy coffee and coffee machines. And little by little I developed into bringing in some food products as well. And I always had in mind to one day set up something a little bit different from the usual cafe, the usual restaurant, something that was typically Italian, with exclusively Italian product, and with very good quality, simple food. So the idea developed and Caffè Italiano was born. So what we're going to prepare today, it's a typical Italian focaccia with prosciutto and fresh buffalo mozzarella. This is the fresh focaccia that we bake every day. Here we are, we just cut it in half and a half again. Very, 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 very simple, very tasty. And this is the best. Fresh is always best. Olive oil, fresh olive oil, look at that. Spread the olive oil on top of that, and then we have fresh buffalo mozzarella. This is absolutely divine. Fresh buffalo in the focaccia, and prosciutto crudo, Parma ham. Look at that. It doesn't get any better than this. Here we are, the most simple of the focaccia, and voila, buon appetito. Tasty, gustoso, we say in Italy. Molto gustoso.
Molto gustoso. Grazie.
Prego.